The CRTC wants to know how radio, TV, and digital platforms in Canada can best meet the needs of Indigenous viewers, listeners, and content creators. Join the conversation today at crtc.gc.ca/indigenous-broadcasting.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Le CRTC veut savoir comment la radio, la télévision et les plateformes numériques au Canada peuvent mieux répondre aux besoins des spectateurs, auditeurs et créateurs de contenu autochtones. Joignez-vous à la conversation aujourd'hui au crtc.gc.ca/radiodiffusion-union autochtone.
Un message du gouvernement du Canada.
I'm Rick Harp. This is your APTN News Brief for Thursday, May 30th. We start in Winnipeg, where a new group will patrol the streets next month. Formed by the family of a First Nations woman murdered by a Winnipeg serial killer in 2022, they hope to use their experience to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Sav Jonesa has more.
It's time for us to turn our grief into action.
Family members of Morgan Harris are taking things into their own hands. Morgan Harris is one of 4 women a Winnipeg serial killer has admitted to murdering. And as Jeremy Skibicki's trial for their deaths continues, her cousin and daughter are hoping to keep other unhoused Indigenous women safe.
When I look at things as a whole, over the last few weeks from the trial and hearing of some of the things that my cousin had to endure, like being thrown out of a shelter 1:50 in the morning when she was missing, who was really out there doing that footwork. We want to be able to, as a group, assist other families in helping their loved ones, whether that be through, looking into shelter space for them, maybe treatment if they're battling addiction. So just some of those different areas.
Morgan's Warriors is a new patrol group hitting the streets of Winnipeg. Melissa Robinson has years of experience under her belt through her time with the Bear Clan Patrol, but she says Morgan's Warriors will have less red tape and restrictions.
This type of work is a 24/7 type job. This for us is about our women. This isn't a photo op for us, to get out there, walk for a couple of hours, take some pictures, hand out some food, and call it a day. Our work with this will never stop.
Harris's youngest daughter, Elle, says she hopes to lead the walks one day.
When I go out there and I see all these people sitting there and they have nowhere to go, and I have a home to go. I have money that I could be putting back into the community. I have the mental capacity to be doing so to help these people heal, and so many others do.
They hope to begin patrols next month without the help of Winnipeg police.
We obviously do not have the best relationship with the Winnipeg police, nor do we have faith or trust in them. They failed my cousin already, and they failed many other women. So do we want to have that part of them being associated with us? No. I'm sure we can figure out things on our own.
Harris adds that the community they want to help doesn't trust the police either.
They know we're going in there just to look for a person or just to pick up the used needles on the ground. They know they can trust us. Otherwise, if we had the police with us, they would not go near the door. They would not go near us. They would walk away. Robinson says Morgan's Warriors are eternally grateful for any support they receive and to join their Facebook page for updates. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
The Saskatchewan inquest into the death of Haven Dubois continues this week at the Royal Hotel in Regina. And so far, it's heard from numerous witnesses, including 2 boys who were with Haven the day he died. CTV's Mick Favel has the details.
The inquest of the 2015 death of Haven Dubois continued on Tuesday, with various experts and witnesses sharing their testimony. The school liaison officer from Haven's high school testified about the events of the day Haven died. She said Haven's phone was not found that day, but 2 days later was found in possession of his friend, the same friend who found Haven's belongings and brought them to his house, setting off the search for Haven. 2 other people who were with Haven hours before he died also testified. They claim to have smoked marijuana with Haven near their school, but have different recollections on Haven's behavior that day. One said that Haven was acting erratic, having a panic attack, trying to climb out of the car they were in. The other said that Haven was his normal self. A toxicologist who also testified mentioned Haven did have marijuana in his system, but nowhere near dangerous levels. Mick Favel, Regina.
And the mother of Haven, Rochelle Dubois, walked out of the inquest on day 2, upset with Tuesday's testimony from pathologist Dr. Amir Khalifa. Dubois said she disagreed with the doctor's assessment that Haven's face showed no sign of injury. It was she who found her son submerged in the water and said she'd seen a scratch on his head at that time. Dubois is also upset some key witnesses did not show up for the inquest. To northern Manitoba, where it's been just over 14 days since a man was last seen near Nisicawayasik Cree Nation, a.k.a. Nelson House. 32-year-old Christopher Travis McDonald officially went missing May 16th. According to Manitoba RCMP, McDonald had been part of a group camp in the bush off Highway 391 west of the First Nation before leaving on foot. Numerous search parties have combed the area in and around the community, including members of the RCMP's Nelson House Detachment, Search and Rescue, along with dog services, none of whom yet able to locate the 6-foot, 143-pound man with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a black and white Echo sweater along with black pants. The Waterhen Lake First Nation in Saskatchewan has lost its K-12 school to fire just one day after its grade 12 graduation ceremony. Located about 300 kilometers northwest of Prince Albert, the First Nation says the fire started at around 12:30 p.m. Tuesday when smoke was seen coming from the roof of the Industrial Arts and Shop classroom. Students and staff were evacuated soon after. The Meadow Lake Fire Department and emergency crews fought the blaze with help from nearby communities, but the fire spread too quickly. Saskatchewan RCMP are investigating. Meadow Lake says portable classrooms are planned for fall classes and mental health supports will be made available. Councillor Carolyn Bernard says the loss for everyone is immense and that it will take years to rebuild.
A lot of people are really sad about it. It's a big devastation because that's the hub of our community. That's where we have our gatherings. That's kind of the big hall. We use our gym, and we have our wakes. We have our funerals. We have our graduations. We have our community dances. We have our round dances.
And finally, Ontario's opposition leader went after the Ford government. NDP leader Merritt Stiles hammered Environment Minister Andrea Kangin about ongoing mercury contamination at Grassy Narrows First Nation. Here's some of their exchange.
It has come to my attention, Speaker, that none of the ministers since 2018 have even set foot in Grassy Narrows. I want to know when this minister or somebody else from this government is going to go to Grassy Narrows, is going to treat this issue with the urgency that it demands and stop the poisoning of the people of Grassy Narrows.
Our first order of business of this government was to correct a historic wrong. And our first order of business was to ensure that we do take action on a progressive path forward, including the necessary supports and benefits and ensuring that they are marked to inflation and the necessary supports are there. And secondary to this is working with Indigenous communities, the expert panels, and as has been the plan all along, to remain committed to ensure that there is a significant path forward. And this week proves a few commitments that we have on a path forward. Speaker, as I mentioned, this is a very complex issue. It has been a historic issue. It's multi-jurisdictional, but know that this government will continue to correct a wrong and have a path forward.
And that's your APTN News Brief for Thursday, May 30th. I'm Rick Harp.